This is just AMZN for Friday, July 23rd, 2021. Today we had a continued move up. We did a bit of a run up and then put in a little bit of an S curve and then continue to run up. And then here we are S curving again, and we'll see where we end up opening Monday. This went sideways for about an hour and a half. And during that time, we had some dips in here with the RSI. Kind of had a double bottom like that there. Doesn't really look that great here, but it does look a lot better over on this call. So this is definitely a double bottom shape. And then it actually does a dip thing over here. And this was a great place to be buying. You could have been buying off of this candle. Near the close of the candle, you want to let that candle form, and at some point, maybe it was starting to dip. But anyway, if you set it up to buy right as this candle's closing, you could have gotten in right at 630. So we'll use that as the closing price. That well, it was the closing price. We'll use that as the entry, and then $1 lower would be 530, which was actually below all of this. It was at 555 for the low over here. That was the lowest I think it got. So that's a really good entry. And then for it being a Friday, looking for Friday and expiring the same day, so you wanted to move in your direction quickly, and it did. But if you got it at 6:30, then looking for 8 hours on a Friday would be 14:30, and it actually hit it on this candle. So you could have been in and out for 8 hour like that. I didn't catch that one, but that one would have been great. And if for whatever reason you got filled a little bit higher, if you didn't do a limit buy of 630 and then the low on this candle was 630, so maybe you got in at 650, or let's say you got in the close of this candle, so 674. So 1474 was not hit on this candle, but it was over here. So you would have had to hold through a bit of a pullback, which would be really rough to be really close to 8 hours and then to pull back all the way and you're up less than an hour. Yeah, I wouldn't have liked holding through all that either. So, but then it did run back up. So, and where it's running up here is kind of some earlier resistance. The highest we closed was 1464. So even if you were looking for 8 hour at 14, what did I say? Entry on this 674. So if you had set up a target at 1474, that would have been above where this candle got. Probably still get out a little bit early, because even the highest close we had early in the day was 10 cents less or $10 less, depending on how you think about options. But yeah, this kind of looks like just a channel, just the call itself. You could have been selling up here and buying down here, and it just didn't come back far enough over here, and then buying over here didn't work. But this is, and it didn't work because it's so close to the actual expiration. So the option wants to go to zero if it's out of the money. It was in the money, but yeah, it did have some dips here right towards close, and lost a lot of premium in the last half an hour here. So it got cut more than a half, by a third at one point. So yeah, keep studying these, seeing how these move. I really want to have a nice bullish pop right at the close on some of these. That's what I was looking for today, and it just really didn't form. The only actual double bottom I saw on the 5-minute was actually here, which was approaching the 2 o'clock hour, but that didn't really dip till here, and this wasn't the best time to be buying. Looking for a good long, like that's literally 5 minutes before the market's closing on the option that playing the option that expires in literally 5 minutes. So you got to be quick on those, but they are playable, especially because this pulled back and then it did actually pop right here. But I'd be looking for a bit more time for it to run up. But that could have worked as well. Buying at the close of this candle. So that would have been buying at 385, maybe buying at 4, something like that. Like what's your order set up for? Probably buying at 4, stop down at 3. It actually would have probably stopped you out right at 3, because even if it had filled on this very next candle or on this candle itself, it did actually touch 3. And a lot of times when it does that, you get stopped out, even though, because something traded at $3. And I've been stopped out of those where it just moves that dollar really quickly, or there's, some order that goes through and you're the selling order. And then it runs without you. So I didn't trade that one either, but I know that's what's happened before as well. The puts really didn't give much direction or much help here. There was not really anything that was overbought that would say, oh yeah, now is the time for it to go down. This a little bit here, but that's where it went sideways, and then this one over here, it did pop a little bit after that, but it's just interesting. We're getting this kind of a pullback here, and we're higher ever since. This kind of pullback here, we're higher mostly to the end of the day. And those are the oversold, but they just get bought up immediately, or they just don't go down anymore. So when the put is getting oversold, when the put is getting overbought, that's when it starts to bounce. So, kind of maybe makes sense, but I guess it does coincide with the stock itself getting oversold. So something else to look for when we're kind of trending like this. So 5 bullish days in a row. It would be nice if we got a little bit of a rest. I don't know if it's going to happen right before earnings. I did say I would talk about earnings some this week, and I didn't really get to that. So I think it's going to come down to, so earnings should be after close on Thursday next week. So we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then it'll happen Thursday after. I'm not planning on doing any videos next week, but if we do continue to run up, and then we have a bunch more bullish candles in a row and then gap up, I think we'll fade. I think we'll come back down, pretty sharply. If we can get some bearish candles in here, like more of these in this same range, if we can come back down into the 21 or into the previous all-time high that, we got this red line in here. If we can be sitting down in here, I think then really all of this, oh, don't move that. Did that move that line? No, that's back to where it was. Okay. I was trying to just highlight. Okay. If we can be back down towards this line, I think that's enough of a rest and really kind of like a double S curve. Also, yes, a double top shape, but if we can rest for that much longer, that's really resting for most of the month of July, and then gap up, I think there's a possibility that we could just run, especially if we only gap up a little bit above these highs. If we can gap up either above the purple line, like into the high 3800s, we could keep running, or even just above 3773.08. If we can gap above that after pulling back a little bit more, resting right on the 21, resting right on the previous all-time high, I think we could keep going up. So, obviously we just broke out. We've only done these days, most of them have been above what was the previous all-time high. And with another earnings, or with earnings coming up so soon, this wasn't earnings, but with earnings coming up so soon, I think that could just continue to, fuel this thing to keep running. And people will feel like they're missing out. They missed out on the breakout. Maybe they missed out on buying here. Oh, it's already back up here. People are going to want to get in. Even if it gaps up on earnings, people will want to get in because, oh, it's moving. That's confirmation, right? And that's why I'm thinking depending on where it goes, it could fade, it could come back down. If you wanted to get into some now and then sell it if it gaps up, that's your own choice to do that. It could have that kind of a move where, you could make some money like that, but it's very risky to do. If you're looking for some ideas on how to help with that, or people to talk with, community to learn from and to trade with, follow the link in the description. And yeah, there's a lot of good information there, a lot. So hope this helps. This is Justin AMZN. Thanks.